Hello and welcome to the big picture. The visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the United Arab Emirates, his first to the Gulf countries and West Asia after he took over as Prime Minister last year, has generated a lot of interest. Apart from it being seen as a necessary correction in the foreign policy, as he is the first Prime Minister to visit after Mrs. Indira Gandhi in 1981, it also has symbolic significance for the Prime Minister himself. The two-day visit has seen enthusiastic response from both the kingdom's rulers as well as the people, especially the large Indian diaspora. The focus of the visit has been on wooing investments from the cash-rich kingdom, apart from seeking its cooperation for fighting terrorism, especially emanating from the ISIS. We will discuss the visit today and what has been the outcome and how this visit will influence and help India's policy towards the Gulf countries and West Asia. To discuss this, I have Sreeram Chaulia, Professor and Dean, Jindal School of International Affairs, and one more guest will be joining us soon. Welcome to all of you. Sreeram Chaulia, would you agree with that? And one more thing is that, so now why has the need been felt now for the Prime Minister to visit? Do you think that, for him also this is an important visit? There is a lot of symbolism involved in this visit of his?
I think Mr. Modi sees a greater sense of urgency to tap into the investments, the untapped potential there. We talk about the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority with over 800 billion in assets, right? So he wants to bring that in substantially. So one of the downsides of the neglect of the last 34 years is that we've barely managed to attract any investment worth mentioning. The last I heard was $3 billion. So for us to ramp it up significantly, because Mr. Modi has made Make in India manufacturing, he's talked about housing and how Dubai and Abu Dhabi are going to be key partners for all that. I think that's why he's there, and that's one of the reasons. The other, as you mentioned in your introduction, was the rise of ISIS. A number of Indians have been abducted in that region beyond the UAE. But remember, the UAE is critically involved in the fight against ISIS, but at the same time, very senior members of the UAE monarchy have also been known to have sympathies and have been donating to jihadist causes, although not as much as the Saudi royal family. So all these things make the UAE very important. We have had an Indian Mujahideen cell there over time that has been blunted, but we never know that could make a comeback. The Pakistanis have tried to use the UAE as a kind of an offshore base from which to mount anti-India terror attacks and plan these things. So all these factors make the UAE valuable right now, I think. And I don't think we could have afforded few more years. I like the Prime Minister's phrase when he said, I feel a sense of shame that after, there's so many flights from Delhi to Abu Dhabi, but it took 34 years for a head of government to land there.
So, Sreeram, what is going to be the impact of this visit of the Prime Minister to UAE as far as other West Asian countries are concerned? How is it going to affect the kind of policy of India towards these countries, and how the other countries look at the India-UAE relationship?
Yeah, Iran is also strategically very close to us, and as Professor Pasha mentioned, they are at loggerheads with the Gulf Cooperation Council members, including UAE. Recently, the GCC Sunni monarchies claimed that they are now okay with the Iran nuclear deal, and when John Kerry visited. But on the ground, if you see, the war in Yemen is stretching out, and in fact, the Houthi rebels who are close to Iran have even come out saying that they'll bring out their biggest strategic weapon to counter the Saudi imperialism in Yemen, which again hints at an increased involvement of Iran in that conflict. So it doesn't look like the deal is actually going to reduce the regional tensions. So India, in a way, we are doing a tightrope there, because on the one hand, we will be pressured always, saying, for example, UAE is saying they'll step up the oil shipments if we want.
Right.
If we want to buy more. In a way, in the past also, the Americans have tried to use Saudi and Kuwait and some of these other countries to get us to drop the Iranian option and to just buy oil from them. So we have tried to balance it out. And because Iran is far more important to us geopolitically as well, it's not just for oil. So I think we're going to explain that Iran remains a partner. And we will hope that the fact that we're also getting closer to Israel. Some people have said that Mr. Modi has scheduled these visits to UAE and Saudi to try and counterbalance the fact that he's also going on this historic first ever trip to Israel later. So I think Iran, Israel and UAE sound like, the three cannot mingle in the same, equation. But nonetheless, I think we have been doing that. We have this multi-vectoral foreign policy. And given the assets we have in the UAE, I'm confident that they will see that there is a value to us irrespective of our relationships with Iran and Israel.
How is this visit going to help the Indian diaspora there? In what way is it going to help? Is it going to make any difference to their lives, to their jobs?
The diaspora, I think, is now dual in nature. We have a growing segment of professionals who are white collar or even can be called gold collar. But of course, the bulk of them are Malayalis and Tamils,
blue
collar workers exploited in working very harsh conditions. And we have raised these issues. I think Prime Minister's visit would have also raised the issue, because think of it, 42% of UAE's workforce comprise Indians.
Absolutely.
So they will have to, give us greater respect and better conditions.
Okay, I think on that note we need to end. This visit, as all my guests say, has been important, historic. How much it will help the country, we'll have to wait and watch and see. But the kind of signals which has emanated in the last 2 days, the Prime Minister has been there, has been very positive. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue in the big picture, same time tomorrow.